Morning, everyone. It is about 8:35, and I will call to order a meeting of the Kent County Board of Commissioners. Thank you for that, and Madam Clerk, will you take the roll call, please?
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Commissioners Green. Antor.
Here.
Merchant.
Here.
DeBoer.
Here.
Hildenbrand.
Here.
Ponstein. Burl.
Here.
Coleman.
Here.
Breeby.
Here.
Teal. Sparks.
Present.
McLeod.
Here.
Hennessy.
Here.
Oliver King.
Here.
LeGrand.
Here.
Baker.
Here.
Wooden. Pakla.
Here.
Diaz.
Here.
Bujak.
Present.
Chair Steck.
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have 18 members present, 3 absent. You have a quorum.
I believe Commissioner Green.
Oh, I see
just stepped in.
2 absent, 19 members present. You have a quorum still.
All right, thank you very much. I will now call on Commissioner Hildebrand for the invocation.
Good morning, colleagues. As we begin our day here on this beautiful Michigan morning, I reflect on the Lord's Prayer, where we ask God to lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. The book of Psalms is filled with pleas for God to lead us in His way, His truth, His righteousness, and in the way everlasting. Along with leading us towards good, we understand that we are asking God to lead us away from evil. The petition in the Lord's Prayer, not to be led into temptation, reflects the believer's desire to avoid the dangers of sin altogether. Whether we are asking for God to lead us away from sin or from difficult trials, our goal is found in the second part of Matthew chapter 6, deliver us from evil. A petition similar to this offered by David in Psalm 141. Do not let my heart be drawn to what is evil, so that I take part in the wicked deeds along with those who are evildoers. Do not let me eat their delicacies. In all things, God is our deliverer, and we are wise to seek His power over sin. The Lord's Prayer is found in Matthew chapter 6, verse 9 through 13. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner. For our special order of business, the first item is from the Gerald R. Ford Airport Authority, where I was less than 6 hours ago. So we have with us our CEO, Tori Richardson, and a fellow most of us know, the Chair Board, Mr. Dan Korndike. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning, Chair. So I'll start off real quick here. My name's Dan Korndike, and I'm the Chair of the Gerald R. Ford International Airport Authority Board. And I'd like to give a quick history on how we became an authority versus a department of the county. Sorry, you can't hear me. So I know there's new commissioners here. So quickly I'll give an update on, I'll give a synopsis of how we became an authority instead of a board within the county, which we used to be. So in 2013 and 14, a subcommittee was put together to take a look at becoming an authority because many airports around the country, most of the successful airports around the country operate as an authority. So this committee was put together, and we had some work sessions with the Board of Commissioners. And August of 2015, a resolution came before this board, and it passed. And I'd like to thank the commissioners who helped pass that and move us to an authority, and that includes Chair Steck, Vice Chair Breeby, Commissioners Antor, Ponstein, and Hennessy. Thank you for your support back then. It then went to the State House, taken up by Rob Verheulen, who was the state representative at that time, the whip, and his very competent staff, which included Lindsay Teal. It went to, there was co-sponsors on that bill, which included the clerk, who was a state rep at that time, and also the treasurer, who was a state rep at that time. It passed unanimously and then went to the state senate and was ushered through the state senate by then State Senator David Hildebrand. Thank you, Commissioner, for your help on that. Finally, it went to the governor, and if you look up on the screen, he signed that legislation. And it finally had to go to the FAA for their approval. And on, let's see, it was July the 1st, 2016, we officially became an authority. Federal government takes a little bit of time. So with that, it has allowed us to do things in a more efficient, effective way and to hire the best talent in the aviation industry to come and manage our airport. So with that, I'll turn it over to our president and CEO for an update, Tori Richardson. Tori.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. I'll run through the slides fairly quick, but as Dan mentioned, we're very pleased to have a great governance model, and that is supplemented with these great individuals that you, as a body, have provided us for our board of directors. So Dan Korndike serves as our chair. Our vice chair is Doug Small. Our secretary is Birgit Close. Michael Verhulst just joined us about a year ago, one of our newest members. The two in the lower center are very familiar faces, our fellow commissioners, Breevy and Burrell. And then under that state governance model, we have to have at least one commissioner that is representing an area outside of Kent County, and that is Pete Buikema, who's representing Ottawa County, and we stay in contact with Ottawa and Allegan counties through his leadership there. So we have a great board, all serving 3-year staggered terms, all coming from different perspectives and really kind of pushing us to do our best every day. One of the things that they always say is be award-winning and fun and be innovative. So on the award-winning and fun, we make sure that we're doing everything focused on the guest experience. So some of the awards that we win are, brightest and best places to work, but it's also construction awards, pavement awards, financial reporting awards, marketing awards, awards for our efforts in hygiene with, the pandemic and COVID-19, awards that are focused on the guest experience. And so very fortunate to be doing that. These are just sort of the confirmations of the work that the team does all the time out there. And again, they're really focused on how do we enhance that guest experience. So that's kind of the people side of it a little bit. From a more physical standpoint, what is the airport? We're 3,200 acres of land in Kent County. We are really the space and place for others to do business. We are the second largest airport in the state. We were the fastest growing prior to the pandemic, fastest recovering since the pandemic. And you can see on the screen here, with over 100 different companies located at the airport employing over 2,000 residents in our community, we're generating more than $3.2 billion of economic impact on an annual basis. And our board has a very focused target for us to be at $10 billion by the end of this decade. So lots of work to be done, but some of the different businesses that you might recognize with the logos are on the screen here. Of course, some of the traditional, the airlines, the rental cars, the Ubers and Lyfts and things like that, but also cargo carriers, food and beverage, and then other local businesses, local corporations that have some sort of presence out there, flight departments, et cetera. In terms of where do we get our people, where are passengers coming from, we have a catchment area that really is about an hour's drive around Kent County. You can see the darker shades of green are the higher concentrations, but Kalamazoo, Holland, Muskegon, Grand Rapids, obviously, but even on the outskirts, Lansing, we see folks from Mount Pleasant, Big Rapids. We also know folks from Traverse City from the north and South Bend from the south come to Grand Rapids and take advantage of our air service offerings. So what does that look like? The route map's pretty full since the pandemic. We've recovered very well. We've got a nice display of the different areas within the U.S. that we're serving. Right now, it's 29 nonstops for May. That number goes anywhere from 28 to 35. That's seasonal, depending on the season. Right now, we're in a little bit of a lull after the spring break traffic and before some of that summer traffic kicks up. In terms of the carriers, Allegiant is still our largest in terms of the number of nonstop destinations served. However, Delta is the largest by the number of seats and people that they're carrying in the market. Following behind them are usually Allegiant, American, and United. They're all trading in that second, third, and fourth spot, and then we have Southwest and Frontier. So very, very healthy mix of air service. What I want to show you on this slide is on the right-hand side, that gold bar, that's GRR, so you can see the 3-letter identifiers for all the airports there. You may not recognize all of them, but what we do is we benchmark this and share this every month with our board to let them know how we're doing. Grand Rapids right now at $405 is the average airfare. The U.S. average is $389. So $16 difference, we like to see that. I call up to $40 more than the national average, sort of the sweet spot. That means our passengers are getting competitive airfare and that the airlines are profitable in our market, meaning they're not losing money and thinking about, well, what other market could we serve and maybe take that asset, that airplane out of our market. Instead, we're very healthy, very profitable for them. They're looking at how do we expand and provide more service, provide larger airplanes, things like that. So it's a very proactive and positive conversation. As I mentioned, the board has been focused on how do we be innovative, award-winning, and fun. On the innovation front, about a year and a half ago, we launched the Ford Launchpad for Innovative Technologies and Entrepreneurship, which is really a platform for others to come up with business ideas, concepts, products, and services and test them in a real-world environment at the airport. We did this in partnership with MEDC, Stantec, Seamless Technology, and Southwest Airlines. This is today flight demo day, which means all day starting at 8 a.m. today through 5 o'clock, they will be out at the airport demonstrating their products and services to different environments. Could be market, the media, and others. Those are just some of the examples that we've seen in the first couple of rounds. So autonomous drones, autonomous mobility, autonomous mobile security devices, a digital twin for the airport so things can be tested and sort of played with live in a digital environment, not necessarily out on the ramps where you could cause some havoc and create some problems. And then autonomous mowing. So the FAA is out there this morning looking at this as a potential scalable solution for mowing in safe and secured areas on the airfield in the future. So great opportunity for us to work with these different partners and really find out, are some of these products and services scalable and deployable to the market? Sometimes they are, sometimes they go back to the drawing board and say, you know, what we thought didn't work, we got to go back and rethink it. But it's a great opportunity to partner. In terms of construction, that's the biggest component of our business these days. Our Airport Operations Center, Phase 1, opened at the end of last year. Phase 2 is under design, which is taking our aircraft rescue firefighting facility and joining it with our Airport Operations Center, which houses our communications dispatch center. That project is in design, should finish the design and start the 2-year construction timeframe later this year. On this map, we're trying to show Elevate as our program. So if you've heard of Elevate, really what that is a program that is focused on very large capital projects that will help facilitate our growth for the future and help grow with the community. So on this map, the dark gray area, box area in the middle is the existing parking garage. That blue area is the existing terminal and concourses. All the other salmon, orange, whatever color you want to call that, are new facilities expansion. So north parking garage, a consolidated rental car facility, a federal inspection station, the air traffic control tower, terminal enhancements, and Concourse A. Just really quick, we'll bring the airport to you. So Concourse A, this is the rendering of what it would look like from the outside if you drive out there. And as the chair probably saw, maybe it was too dark last night, but that is what the facility looks like today. So the outside is done. We're working on the inside. For those that are newer to the Concourse A project, that red checked box is our existing Concourse A. So the footprint of the new ultimate build-out, you can see, is about 3 times larger, offering a lot more amenities. Some of the renditions from the artists in terms of what this would look like. Much more modern facility, nice daylight, different options, theming so that there's a sense of place when people arrive or depart and they understand they're doing this from West Michigan. So theming throughout, showing, you know, basically the water, the dunes, agricultural, right down to the urban areas, and you'll see that theme throughout the facility. Here's just another rendering of what it looks like in sort of that concessions marché area. And if you're walking that area out there today in the construction, and some of you have been out there to do that, this is what it looks like. So the gate areas are coming under final construction right now, wrapping of the columns. You can see the ceilings in place, the flooring's going down. We've commissioned local artists to help us with art, so some of the hanging art, both from the ceiling, also on the walls, but then also on the terrazzo floor, so that you'll see as you walk through the facility, again, a sense of place, a sense of feel for West Michigan and some of the people that are doing that work. So there's some terrazzo artwork that's going in right here, and then on the right you can see that there's a concession area that's being built out in the center. So much more facilities that will be offered to the public, and then much more better experience for the guest overall. Later this month we'll be breaking down on our consolidated rental car facility, or CONRAC as we call it. This is a project that will take a couple years to construct, but it is going to adjoin basically from where the terminal is today through where the federal inspection station will be in the future, have a climate-controlled walkway into a customer service building, which will house ready return vehicles, but also quick turn area for the rental cars to service their vehicles and have them ready for the customer to use. That's taking about 90% of our roadway traffic off of Ustama. So right now, there's a lot of shuttling of those vehicles back and forth and a significant reduction in emissions by doing that. So an overall efficiency gainer for us as the airport, but also for the rental car operators and a better environment for the customers. We constantly talk about the air traffic control tower. We have made more progress in the last few years than we've made in the 20 leading up to it. So we're very pleased to say that this year the FAA is now under design for that project. That's about a 12-month process to go through to get the project designed, and then we'll be right behind pushing for them to move immediately into construction. But this is giving you an indication where that new air traffic control tower will go off sort of in that northeast quadrant of the airport over by where UPS and Aflight are today. So taking it from the top of the terminal and moving it over there with a larger facility and a better vantage point. Terminal enhancement project is one of the three that this body has supported us with support for the bonds. So this project is in design. It would finish the design probably later this year. It's going to incorporate a consolidated ticketing function for all the airlines to be ticketing and happening in the same location, as well as their baggage makeup area, which is where they get the bags ready to put on the airplane. And the space in between that is a TSA function, which will incorporate a security inspection system that will basically an inline baggage system for TSA processing of explosives and electronic detection for explosives. So that project is around $150 million, again, finishing up design later this year. As we talk about what we do in the community, our board's always focused on be in the community, be out there, be a good neighbor. So some of the things that we participate in are National Night Out. Some of you are also seen out doing that, but we bring our equipment out there and show that off and just kind of engage with the communities that help support us. We're down here for the St. Patrick's Day Parade again. The large aircraft rescue firefighting vehicle and snow plow. The snow blower is a little bit too big to bring down here, but we try to bring the big equipment down and kind of show it off a little bit. But we're also a venue for Art Prize, another opportunity to engage with the community and have some of that art brought out to the airport. We just finished our Passenger Appreciation Day where we had real live action figures out there doing selfies and autographs for some of the kids and the folks that were going through. We had our pets out there for the dogs, the therapy dogs, and doing a little dog parade, and then some island music, reggae music at the TSA screening checkpoint area with a live band there playing and just kind of getting people into that mood. And they were dancing and kind of going through the conga line, so it was kind of funny to watch people really enjoy that. This month we launched our food trucks in the viewing park, so we do that twice a month. The first Wednesday and the third Wednesday. The first Wednesday of every month through the summer will be we'll call it the middle of the day from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The third Wednesday, we're picking up the 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. So those folks that are working second shift or want to, go take advantage of that with their kids after work will have the opportunity to do that. But a huge hit, and you can always follow us on our social media to see what food trucks are going to be there and when those events are happening. But always a lot of folks turning out. We usually have some equipment out there on display. Folks really, really enjoy interacting that way. You all have, and I see some of you have put them on, some pins in front of you celebrating our 60th anniversary this year. So please mark your calendars for Saturday, August 19th, which is National Aviation Day. We plan to have a nice event out at the West Michigan Aviation Academy flight training area, which will be out on the ramp and out on the taxiway. We'll have helicopter landing. We'll have some of the large vehicles out there on display, aircraft on display, live music, food trucks, some giveaways and things like that. Just, again, celebrating 60 years of service to the community and thanking the community for that 60 years of service. And then later this year in September is another opportunity if you'd like to run, to blow off some steam, to come out and run on our taxiways and runways. We close the north side of the airfield and invite about 1,000 folks to come out there and do the run, and that's always a big hit too. So again, just another way that we're engaging with the community. Lastly, at the request of Commissioners Breevy and Burl, you should be seeing now a monthly update. This is just a quick scorecard, if you will, one pager to give you a glimpse of what's happening statistically with our passengers, with our route map, with some of the projects that we've got going on, and some of the artwork. So we'll try to share that monthly, but if you have questions in between, feel free to let us know. Mr. Chair, that concludes our remarks. Happy to take any questions or comments.
All right, thank you very much, Tori and
It was 11
Dan.
minutes, by the way, Mr. Chair.
It was 11 minutes? So you only have 9 next time you present, okay. All right, let's see if there's any questions or comments from commissioners. Yeah, Commissioner Burrow.
Thank you, Tori and Dan. It's been a privilege serving on that board since January. But could you maybe talk to the commissioners here a little bit? I was very impressed when some questions were being asked, I think to your marketing department on who we're marketing to and how we're trying to effectively to market to everyone in our community, minorities. And I thought that was very impressive. I'm not sure how much you can kind of rattle off on that, but again, I thought that was very impressive that we are trying to hit our entire community, and the staff is very impressive with that.
Yeah, we do. We've partnered with a company that has been a really great new partner for us with Extra Credit Projects, helping us to do some of that marketing, really figuring out the demographics, who's traveling, who's making travel decisions, and how do they make those decisions, and then helping us get into the right mediums, whether it be billboards. So you see a lot of billboards around the, on the roadways around here. We're seeing, and down in Kalamazoo and some other areas, because we know people are from Kalamazoo coming up here and doing that. The phones are kind of creepy, but a new way to track what people are doing. And so the companies are also helping us identify, literally, when I show you that catchment area map, where people are at when they're making decisions and booking stuff online. And so we're really utilizing technology, focused on, different radio stations that might focus on one demographic or another, and making sure that we're channeling the right types of messages to the right types of audiences so that they're hearing it and they understand it. Great question. Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Commissioner Bujak.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. What a great presentation. You did that without any notes, 11 minutes nonstop. That was excellent.
Thank you, sir.
You spoke to job opportunities. How are job opportunities there at the airport right now? And do you have a website that shows job openings?
Great questions, and I'll try to answer them in sort of the order. So first of all, it's my job to do this and to sell this, so that's why that I can do this without notes. It's what we do every day. The second part is, from the standpoint of jobs, our board is very focused on, we talk about capital programs. This is $750 million worth of work that we'll be doing over the next 5 years. Our board is very focused on making sure that work stays local. So, for instance, on Concourse A, we can use that as an example because that's already in process. 90% of those businesses are West Michigan businesses. There's one that's in the center of the state. It's a minority business, but it's in the center of the state. But otherwise, it's West Michigan businesses that are employing up to 200 people every day out at our airport doing this work. And we see that continuing, whether it be Conrac, whether it be the tower, whether it be the parking garage. The focus will be how do we employ our residents so that money can stay local and regenerate. In terms of positions that are available, you see some of the outreach events that we shared. It is available on our website as well, and we do partner with our tenants. So the TSA, when they're hiring, if it's one of the fixed base operators, the airlines, we do, just a couple weeks ago, we hosted a career fair out at the hotel at the DoubleTree and brought all those folks in to have booths where if somebody was interested in aviation, they had an opportunity to come out and interact directly with folks that would do the hiring process for that, and they could tell them more about the jobs, get them signed up, get through the screening process. So we do that outreach as well. And then from the business perspective, we also partner with the Chamber and the Hispanic Chamber and provide some of those outreach opportunities for people who might be interested but not really sure how to do business with the airport and with all the federal regulations that we have to comply with, giving them a little bit easier comfort feeling on how we walk through that step with them. So we do that outreach in multiple ways. Yep.
Commissioner Diaz.
Chair, again, great presentation, Mr. Richardson, nice and concise. I wanted to ask you specifically about some green initiatives at the airport. Obviously, we're in the middle of trying to electrify our grid. Can you speak at all to any green efforts that are currently or may be underway in the future at the airport? Everything from solar panels, heat pumps, electric vehicles for the rental cars. What kind of initiatives are underway?
Yeah, we're staying focused on all that. In fact, we just, in our last board meeting, had Consumers Energy come out and provide us a very sizable check on a rebate program that we partner with them on. Some of those projects have included, converting some of the old lighting to LED lighting. So if you go out there at night, you can see we've got new canopy lighting. We changed the colors. We partner with the county on some things to help, promote. Maybe it's Police Week, maybe it's Veterans, whatever. We can do that with programmable lighting, and that's really the result of switching over to LED lighting, which is also a cost savings for us. So we're looking at kind of, a couple bangs for our buck there, if you will. In terms of the rental cars with the Conrack facility or the consolidated rental car facility, we are working with the rental car companies about how do we provide the power. They're still uncertain about how they're going to do that. So we will, bless you, be provisioning for electrification, but they have not yet identified like how much of their fleet are they going to be utilizing for electric vehicles out here. And it's really varying by market. So you can see on the West Coast, there's a real drive for that. In the Midwest, we're a little bit more autonomous and want to do our own thing. And so not as heavy in the EV charging right now, but we're provisioning for the future. We're also working with the power company because technically right now, we don't have enough power coming into the airport to be able to do all of the gates, charging of electric airplanes of the future and cars, but making those provisions as we do the development to allow for that in the future. We do also have electric charging out there right now in the garage for folks that want to drive their electric vehicles out there. They don't charge anything or pay anything more for the charge. They just get to pull up, plug their vehicle in and pay for parking as they otherwise would and take advantage of that. So we're trying to be proactive in that way and really evolving with the whole EV charging.
Thank you.
Yep.
Commissioner Baker.
Yeah, just real quick, just wanted to acknowledge appreciation from the local arts community of choosing local artists to do the terrazos, et cetera. So they talk about it, and I just wanted to let you know that we hear it. So
Great, thank you. Again, that's a board initiative, right? Be engaged with our community and support it. So pleased to do that.
All right, anyone else? Commissioner Wooden.
Thank you, Chair. Got a break from this, I think, last year, but not sounding like a broken record. Could you at least give us an update on if there's been any developments in newer technologies to replace the AF8 Quad F fire suppressant materials? I realize we've been able now to thankfully move towards getting those residents nearby the airport protected through municipal water, but just wondering, has there been any developments on developing a newer way to suppress fires? And I realize that this is largely out of our control, but has there been any developments on the regulatory front as well?
Great question, Commissioner. So yes, there has been developments. This has been a long, ongoing process, and it wasn't easy. So because it really is changing several different factors. Some of the techniques and the skills in fighting fires is going to have to change as a result of this. But then, as you mentioned, just having the agent, which we call, water, foam, or whatever, being the agent that will productively reduce and extinguish fires. And so the FAA and the Department of Defense have been working over the last several years testing multiple different combinations of a new foam or type of foam that could help suppress basically liquid fires. They have just this month released that they are down to their final testing of those with the hopes that by September they will have the specification in place and some potential providers that can meet that specification to start producing this and deploying it. But it is still a very long road to go because they got to produce all of this in mass quantities to get to all of the different Department of Defense locations, all of the airports, and anyone else that's using the traditional AFFF. In addition, there is the cleanup process for all the vehicles and all the apparatus that have been using this AFFF foam to get those cleaned out in a manner that they aren't going to be continuing to contribute to the PFAS issue. So there's a lot of work to be done, but it is moving. But it's moving about as fast as you would expect with the federal government and the amount of testing and training that's going to have to go into implementing something different.
No, thank you for the update and also correcting me that I gave it an extra F. We, in the past, the speed of the federal government has been the only update we've been able to get. So being able to see that there's been progress made is really appreciated. So thank you.
Yes. Finally, you can see some progress. So thank you.
We usually don't hear speed and federal government in the same sentence, but thank you. Any other questions, comments? If not, thank you so much for your, yes, I'm sorry, Vice Chair Breeve.
Thank you, Chair. Thought I'd wait till the end. I just wanted to thank both Tori and Dan for your leadership. I feel like the culture at the airport is a result of your positive leadership, Tori, and Tori recently won an award from the association. He was Airport Executive of the Year, and he's a very humble guy, so I didn't see that on his slide, but it was a very nice award and well-deserved. As I fly from place to place from time to time, I just always look at the conditions of the airports, and I think GRR really stands out It's so clean, so nice, and it's well taken care of. So I appreciate all the work that you and the team do, and I am definitely honored to serve on the board. So thanks for your presentation today.
All right, I still get to go last, though. Anyway, thank you so much for your presentation, for all your hard work, both you and everybody that's behind you then doing that. But as I came in last night, I'm just reminded how having direct flights sort of radically changes the flying experience. And I know that it is so hard. There's so much work that has to go on to be able to get the airlines to do that. So you've done a great job in doing that, and I look forward to more of those. But absolutely pleased to see all of that. So thank you for your work.
Great, thank you.
All right, we have one more special order of business this morning. This time it is from Jeff Dode, our Financial Services Director, on the 2023 financial overview.
Thank
Good
you,
morning,
Chair.
Jeff.
Good morning. Good morning, Commissioners. Thanks for the opportunity to be here today. I'll try to give you the minute back that those guys took. So anyway, I'm here to present the 23 financial overview. Just to start off, this wouldn't be possible without the work of my deputy, Marvin Van Ortwyk. He does the primary lifting of all this document, and he does a great job each and every year. So I think you have a copy of this on your screens, correct? So I'll go through it quickly, some highlights, and then we, of course, be happy to answer any questions. So I'd like to start with the purpose of this, and it's in the cover letter. So this summarizes the significant economic, demographic, and financial information of Kent County and demonstrates the financial strength and sustainability of our government. And it's primarily used for the retail bondholders and institutional investors and rating agencies, elected officials, citizens, and businesses doing work here. So moving on through pages 8 through 12, it's really an economic profile of the county. It includes things such as facilities, like medical services, commercial industrial-based convention facilities. It talks
Excuse me,
about our
Jeff,
transport.
are we going to put this on the main screen, or
We have it in our packet.
we're still asking? Yeah, it's in the packet. I just didn't know if it was going to be on the screen.
Did not load it. I don't know if
I'm
someone.
seeing head shake no, so.
No, okay. So no more questions on the airport in the
More
meantime.
questions on the airport. I apologize for that. Talks about air travel, railroads, and travel time to work. Moving on to page 13, if you can all scroll there, this talks about our property tax rate history. And you can see from 2018 through 22 the changes. One thing to note, the county operating has seen a slight decline, and that's through the Proposal A and the Headley rollbacks. Moving on to page 15, SCV and taxable value changes. You can see in the middle of the page there, we had a 12.5% SCV change from last year and an 8.6% taxable value change. Those are really strong, unheard of really in recent history. And our taxable valuation is just over $30 billion there. At the bottom of the page, you can see the SCV and taxable value history percentage, and we're down below 74% in that gap. So a large gap there which protects us on the downside should there be a recession. Moving on to page 19, you can see the state revenue categories. State revenue sharing is the biggest piece of this. You can see the 9.7 million for 2023. Of course, that was a 9-month budget. Compared to last year, it's about 13.1 million for a full year. We're anticipating that to be around 14.50 million going forward. Total state revenues last year, 25.4, 18.6 for the 9-month period this year. Moving on to page 20, we talk about debt. Our legal debt limit is 10% of our SCV, which would be $3.3 billion of additional debt capacity that we could take on. I would obviously never recommend going that high. We're currently at 0.97%, so a very low ratio there. Moving on to page 24, I'd like to talk about our pension and OPEB liabilities. You can see our fiduciary net position on the pension, 108%, so very well funded. Moving on to the VEBA piece, which is our retiree health care. 70.85% funded. This was started around 2008, so we've made really, really good progress on our OPEB debt over time. Moving on to page 37, we're going to talk a little bit about the general fund, how it finished last year. This is still preliminary. They're working on the audit right now. You can see a $2.2 million surplus, fund balance at the end of year, just under $87 million. So very good performance on the general fund. Moving on, page, 38. Shows their cash flow component of fund balance. You can see 86.9 million total, 47.7 million for cash flow, and then 27 million assigned to economic stabilization. And again, the economic stabilization is a little lower than last year due to the 9-month budget year. But year over year on a full year would be very comparable. Page 41, you can see our capital improvement plan, just over $50 million fund balance at the end of the year. So very strong capital improvement program that we have each and every year. In '22, we transferred $6 million to strategic capital. If you go to 42 and 43, talk about our airport that just presented. You can see their revenues were up from 50.3 million to 61 million, so very good rebounding as they talked about. And then the debt coverage on the next page, 2.45%, which is very healthy for their debt coverage ratio. Lastly, page 46, we talk about the lodging excise tax fund. As you know, COVID took a big hit there, but it's rebounded nicely. 21 had just under $9 million of revenues, up to 12.5 almost in 22. So a very large rebound. And then the debt service coverage there is 1.5 times, so very, very good rebound there as well. The rest of the book talks about our policies, our fiscal policies, and recent economic news. And again, this document's used by the rating agencies. Typically, we would have this ready for the DTAN notes. However, this year we did variable rate notes, so there wasn't a presentation, but obviously we'll send this to the rating agencies so they have it on file. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, very good. That was under 10 minutes. Very well done. Questions, comments? Commissioner Rantor.
Morning.
Lodging excise tax, that's really encouraging. I'm just wondering, do you know of any plans to expand any big facilities here in the future? Any more hotels going in the downtown area? Or?
I don't know of any plans. I don't know if I would have heard anything.
I've heard talk of still a deficit of about 400 rooms. I think a few years ago that might have been 700 to 800 rooms, but we have had a number of new hotels, hotel spaces open. I don't know of any current plans to do anything in the immediate future, but I do know that there has been talk. I think we've all heard talk about some would like to see a convention hotel on top of the convention center. And so I do think as projects like the amphitheater become a reality, and we've heard, possibly an aquarium or soccer stadium, I think all those things will continue to drive the need for more hotel rooms. Thank you.
Commissioner Coleman.
Chair, I'm just curious if the ratings agencies had any comment on our fiscal year change.
They really didn't. They obviously, we let them know that was happening, and we footnoted a lot of the numbers because obviously they were different. So, but they didn't have any concerns with that change.
Any other comments, questions? I see none. All right, well done. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
All right, next item on the agenda is our first opportunity for public comment. This is the opportunity to address agenda items only. If you have comments with respect to an item that's on the agenda, please identify yourself and your address and identify what item that you are addressing. And I will just note for everyone that we are discussing and we'll be implementing a few changes for the public comment process in our meetings. So stay tuned to that so that you'll know what that's like starting with the next meeting. So anyone from the public on agenda items only.
Morning.
Good morning.
Joel Lautenbach with Samaritas. I'd like to address the resolution D on the agenda. Good morning, Commissioners. On behalf of the Welcome Plan Steering Team, which is made up of the City of Grand Rapids, Kent County, Grand Rapids Chamber, the Hispanic Chamber, and Samaritas, I'd like to thank you for allowing the welcome plan to come to Kent County and to continue to support it. It's been a plan that's been supported through community support in the past 4 or 5 years. And as a member of the steering team, we know that there's been a great history of support from organizations like Fifth Third Bank and Corewell and the Grand Rapids Community Foundation, Steelcase Corporation, in supporting the development of this plan. And the resolution that's before you today is accepting additional funds from the Grand Rapids Community Foundation to continue to animate and coordinate this plan as we try to create an environment here in Kent County where new Americans can thrive and also people feel drawn to our community so that we can continue to be successful. As we think forward to what we're trying to achieve, we're looking forward to bringing back measures of our impact and the progress that we're making on the Kent County Welcome Plan in the months ahead. And we look forward to a Welcome Week, which is in September. The Grand Rapids Chamber CEO Roundtable is funding an update to our economic impact study of new Americans in Kent County. And just if you haven't seen that data, you'll see there that when we looked at it last time, we saw that 50,000 people in Kent County, about nearly 9% of the population, would be considered new American, and they play a very large role in the success of our economy. So we're looking forward to updating that data, and funds like the $10,000 before you that we're asking to accept from the Grand Rapids Community Foundation continues to allow us to do that work. So thank you for your time, and we look forward to you reviewing the resolution and passing it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joel. Anyone else? Agenda items only.
Chairman.
Good morning.
And Commissioners. Beautiful spring day. I would just like to address what we just heard about all the finances. Again, to make an appeal to spend some of this money to help the very poor of Kent County. Of course, I live in the city. By the way, my name is Daniel Scott. True identity, of course, is I'm a follower of the Lord Jesus Christ. But longtime Kent County resident. Sunday is Mother's Day. Every day should be Mother's Day, I believe. But I'd like to make an appeal to spend some of this extra money I just heard about to help some of these mothers who are contemplating having their babies murdered because they feel they couldn't afford to raise them. And there are many like that. Take some of that money and help these mothers and their children, their families. Lord would bless Kent County because the scriptures say you help the fatherless, you help the poor, you will be blessed. And again, I know the perfect place to start one of these is 320 East Fulton, where right now the blood is being shed. These precious children, to turn that place into a place where mothers and children could at least spend some time and help get their footing in life and so on. And I've made an appeal before for some of these funds to help Sacred Beginnings.
Point of order,
Leslie,
Chair. Per our newly adopted rules, and while there's an appropriate time for public comments like these to be given, I believe this first public comment period must be on a particular issue pending before the board, which is on our item, an item on our agenda that's scheduled for a vote. Our fiscal report is not something we're voting on. So I pause to wonder whether or not this is relevant to the first public comment period and not one that is more pertinent to general county matters.
Well, I would agree with you, Commissioner, that this comment is more to the general jurisdictional issues, and under the new rules, I would have the right to limit the second comment period and limit that. So I will let them go ahead now, but noting that in the general jurisdictional comments, your time would be restricted.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, I'll save my time for the next time.
Anyone else? Again, agenda items, action items only.
I think I heard it the first time. I understand that. I'm just playing, Commissioner. But how you doing, everybody? My name is DeAndre Jones. I stay at 967 Tamarack Avenue, Northwest. Had to say that pretty fast. Actually, wanted to say, I like the Airport Board Authority's presentation. I would like to build an esports lounge there. We need to build an esports lab and lounge at the airport. I'll continuously advocate for that because I know the economic boost that can give the airport. Also, I wanted to say for the welcome plan, to engage our young immigrant and refugee youth, we need to do FIFA. We can do a FIFA esports competition. You need to integrate esports into this welcome plan when you guys do activities, because these young immigrant kids, for example, when we were there at the, I forgot exactly what it is, but it was the Boston Square neighborhood like launch for their cool project that they were doing, and all of the big business people and some of the commissioners was there. And I ended up getting a basketball because it was this old guy, he's like 70 years old, black guy. I grabbed this basketball, he got angry at me, and I was like, I want to really grab it. It's like a whole community event. It's like 200 people out here or something like that. It's a bunch of kids. I really grabbed this basketball so I can give it to the kids. And so he didn't really understand what I was trying to do. So I gave him his basketball back. He's like, you going to give me my basketball? I said a lot of words to him, but I ain't going to say what I said to him because it's inappropriate. So I ended up going to the store and bought a basketball, and then I brought this basketball back, and all of these young African kids started to chase each other, and this created a spark of energy that just wasn't there. And I'm just like, see, it's just the little things. I remember growing up and just being a kid and just needed something to do. You go to a community event and there's nothing to do, but you get a soccer ball. What do kids do? They start chasing each other. There's no goal out there, but they can imagine and use their imagination. And so I got this basketball, and the kids started to chase each other, and they started to dribble, and then they kept asking me, was I in the NBA and all of that stuff? Things I wish I could aspire to do if I didn't bring a gun to school, but I think I'm pretty satisfied with how I turned out. But I ended up just buying a basketball, and I created a spark of energy, and I got to engage those kids. But as they were sitting there talking to me, and I told them that I do esports and gaming competitions, they said, I like basketball, but we like soccer. I'm just like, I ain't want to be biased, but I'm like, y'all some young African kids. I'm Haitian. I'm pretty sure y'all do like soccer better than basketball, to be honest. And so this is a recommendation for you guys. When you guys want to do some engagement and engage young immigrant kids and youth, those kids love FIFA, soccer. They love soccer games. There's EA Sports. They create soccer games. They have the FIFA. They're the gaming publisher. Think about those things. You want to engage young immigrant kids and different kids from different ethnicities and backgrounds. Thank you.
Yes.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. If we're going to hold someone to only a resolution or an action item, I believe that we should hold all public comment to an action item or resolution.
Yeah, I will determine that the comments from DeAndre were in fact more general jurisdictional comments, and so his time in the general next public comment would be restricted. So I'll advise him of that if he comes forward. Thank you. Anyone else? All right, if not, we'll move to item number 7, which is consent agenda, and I will call on Commissioner Hildebrand.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move today's consent agenda.
Supported by Commissioner Coleman. Questions, comments from commissioners? I see none. This is a roll call. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On the motion to adopt the consent agenda, Commissioners Green.
Yes.
Antor.
Yes.
Merchant. DeBoer. Hildenbrand.
Yes.
Ponstein. Burl.
Yes.
Coleman.
Yes.
Breavy.
Yes.
Teal.
Yes.
Sparks.
Yes.
McLeod.
Yes.
Hennessy.
Yes.
Oliver King. LeGrand.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Wooden.
Yes.
Pakla.
Yes.
Diaz.
Yes.
Bujak.
Yes.
Chair Steck.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 20 yeas, 0 nays. The motion passes. The consent agenda is adopted.
Thank you very much. For our items on resolutions, starting with A, I will call on Commissioner LeGrand.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to move resolution number 47 of today's date, purchase of development rights 2023 scores and ranking, which comes to us from the Administrator's Office.
Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Commissioner Sparks. Questions or comments on this resolution? Commissioner Coleman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Most of you have heard my reasoning why the purchase of development rights program, I think is flawed. But I do want to express my appreciation to the Agricultural Preservation Board and Matt Channing on their continued work to try to find alternatives like the potential with transfer of development rights. I really appreciate all the work that's going into that because I think that's a much better option for the goal of preserving farmland and green space. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? If not, this is a voice vote. So, all those that support the resolution and the motion say yes.
Yes.
Opposed say no.
No.
I rule that it was approved. For the next item B, I will call on Commissioner Teal.
Thank you, Chair Steck. I move resolution number 48, appointments to various commissions and committees.
Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Vice Chair Brevy. Questions, comments? I see none. This also is a voice vote. Those that support the resolution and the motion to approve that say yes.
Yes.
Those that oppose say no. It is approved. Next, item C, I'll call on Commissioner McLeod.
Thank you, Chair. I move Resolution 49 of today's date to amend the 22-23 Weatherization Assistant Program LIHEAP grant brought to us by the Kent County Community Action.
Thank you. Is there support? Supported by Commissioner Oliver King. Questions or comments? I see none. This is a roll call, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On the motion to adopt Resolution 49, Commissioners Green.
Yes.
Antor. Merchant. DeBoer. Hildenbrand.
Yes.
Ponstein. Burl.
Yes.
Coleman.
Yes.
Brevy.
Yes.
Teal. Sparks.
Yes.
McLeod.
Yes?
Hennessy.
Yes.
Oliver King. LeGrand.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Wooden.
Yes.
Pakla.
Yes.
Diaz.
Yes.
Bujak.
Yes.
Chair Steck.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 20 yeas, 0 nays. The motion passes. Resolution 49er is adopted.
Thank you. For item 8D, I will call on Commissioner Sparks.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to move Resolution 50 of today's date, Grand Rapids Community Foundation Fund for Community Good Grant to support the Kent County Welcome Plan from the Administrator's Office.
Supported by Commissioner Coleman. Thank you. Questions, comments? Commissioner Sparks.
Really excited to move this because when you look at all of the number of immigrants that are here doing great work, trying to make a life for themselves and for their families, it's just really exciting to see that they have support. So I'm very excited to move this forward. As I said, in Kentwood, we have 80 different languages, over 80 different languages spoken at the high school. So that tells us that we're moving in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Diaz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would likewise like to express support for this resolution and like to concur with some of the statements made by DeAndre earlier. I believe one of the community members or part of the welcome team said, I believe it's 9% is what he said, of the Kent County population can be described as new Americans. And I think that that's amazing, that people can feel like our county is welcoming for them and people can call Kent County home. As I mentioned earlier in one of our earlier meetings this year, I graduated from Godfrey Public Schools. That is a very diverse school, and they have everything from, people from all over Latin America to recent refugees from Afghanistan. And so I definitely look forward to us developing our welcome plan and continuing to make Kent County a welcome place for all.
Thank you. Anyone else? If not, this is a voice vote. Those that support the motion and the resolution, please say yes.
Yes.
Those that oppose, say no. It is approved. I'll now move to item 8E and call on Commissioner LeGrand.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to move Resolution 51 of today's date, grant-funded community development position requests. They come to us from Kent County Community Action.
Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Commissioner McLeod. Thank you. Questions or comments? All right, I don't see any. This is a roll call vote. Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On the motion to adopt Resolution 51, Commissioners Green.
Yes.
Antor. Merchant. DeBoer. Hildenbrand. Ponstein. Burl.
Yes.
Coleman.
Yes.
Breeby.
Yes.
Teal.
Yes.
Sparks.
Yes.
McLeod.
Yes.
Hennessy.
Yes.
Oliver King. LeGrand.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Wooden.
Yes.
Pakla.
Yes.
Diaz.
Yes.
Bujak.
Yes.
Chair Steck.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 20 yeas, 0 nays. The motion passes. Resolution 51 is adopted.
Thank you. We'll now move to item 8F, and I will call on Commissioner Pakla.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm pleased to move the adoption of Resolution 52 of today's date to convert 2 part-time scalehouse attendant positions to 1 full-time scalehouse attendant position, which comes to us from the Department of Public Works.
Thank you. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Vice Chair Breedy. Questions or comments? I hear none. This is a roll call as well, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On the motion to adopt Resolution 52, Commissioners Green.
Yes.
Antor.
Yes.
Merchant. DeBoer. Hildenbrand. Ponstein. Burl.
Yes.
Coleman.
Yes.
Breeby.
Yes.
Teal.
Yes.
Sparks.
Yes.
McLeod.
Yes.
Hennessy. Oliver King. LeGrand.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Wooden.
Yes.
Pakla.
Yes.
Diaz.
Yes.
Bujak.
Yes.
Chair Steck.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 20 yeas, 0 nays. The motion passes. Resolution 52 is adopted.
Thank you. We'll now move to the next item on the agenda, which is our second opportunity for public comment, this time with respect to general jurisdictional matters. If you wish to address us with respect to general jurisdictional matters, you may do so. You should identify your name and your address, and you have up to 3 minutes unless it is adjusted for comments during the earlier. Good morning, and I calculate you have 1 minute, 3 seconds left.
Again, Mother's Day is Sunday. Half of the babies being murdered at 320 East Fulton are female. They will never have the opportunity to be a mother. This is what happens at 320 East Fulton because of now our governor in Lansing. Frequently, the unborn baby is killed at the start of a late-term abortion procedure, primarily through the administration of a lethal injection into the amniotic sac or baby's head or heart, severing the umbilical cord so that the unborn child will bleed to death. However, 69% of late-term abortion murders providers report that they do not induce fetal demise. What do they do then? The baby is born alive. They strike a knife into the back of their head, suck out their brains, or cut the umbilical cord and let the baby bleed to death. 320 East Fulton, your jurisdiction. Put a stop to it.
Thank you. Anyone else? Good morning, DeAndre. I conclude you have 1 minute left.
All right, cool. How you doing, everybody? So I think what I actually said was on the agenda, but I just want to let you guys know that I did an esports competition April 22nd. I'm in the second Word City for Economic Development. I literally started from nothing, and now I won a visionary where I have to fly to Las Vegas to accept an award, a Visionaries Award, for my esports competition. Do you know how blown away I am? My whole community is blown away, the hood, everybody. I literally did a free esports competition here and won a Visionary Award. And I got to fly to a whole nother state to accept it in some of the biggest companies in the world. I'm a visionary, a true visionary. Just imagine if you guys would have gave me $250,000 to do an esports competition, what would we be talking about? I did this for nothing, literally from nothing. I'm a visionary, a true visionary, a business leader. I'm going to be a billionaire one day. I started from nothing. I come from Social Security, and look what I did. I'm a visionary. I'm an award winner. Las Vegas, baby. Let's get it.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. If not, we'll move to item 10, Administrative Report.
Yes, just a couple items today. It was good to see a healthy crowd out for the the sneak peek at the new zoo exhibit. Jahari, the mini hippo, mini at 600 pounds, joins the exhibits at the zoo, and turns out Jahari really likes people, so the folks in attendance, especially the kids, got to experience Jahari coming right up to the glass and, you know, almost talking to him, I think. I don't know, I don't speak hippo. Also, remember strategic planning tomorrow. It works best if we get 100% attendance, so I'm really hoping to see everybody there, and we'll make it fun and interesting. So that's a high bar for strategic planning, but we can do it. We have so much going on right now. It's really kind of our busiest time of year on staff because I know yesterday we had budget meetings with departments, and also we have labor negotiations going on, and just a very busy time with all the administrative activity. Also wanted to mention that we had a 4-hour meeting 2 days ago, the Sustainable Business Park stakeholder group, talking about flow control. And I do think we have more or less tentative agreement on a range that if the project comes in at a certain price, I think that the various parties will have agreed that of the parameters of flow control. So we're in our 13th month of meeting, mostly twice a month, and I think a very good understanding of the project, the need for the project, the fact that we're not in a do-nothing posture because basically our landfill runs out of space in 7 years, and our flow control agreement with the 6 cities ends in 2 years. And so definitely decisions must be made, and I know we have meetings scheduled with the board to learn more about it. It's been a while since the last work session on this topic, and so we look forward to re-engaging with the board, and I know Dar left, but is also eager to resume that conversation. And that's it for today.
All right, thank you, Al. Next item, reports. Any commissioner have a report to the board? Commissioner Wooden.
Thank you, Chair. 2 quick reports. One, KCCA Governing Board met recently. One of the pending items before us is the annual review of the Community Development Block Grant process. One change from the past where the applications were reviewed entirely by staff. A member of the governing board is now invited to participate in that process. That member is Commissioner Diaz, and applications are being reviewed, and I think recommendations will be made or should be made soon. I'll let him speak to that in a moment. And then also the County Revolving Loan Fund Advisory Committee met earlier this week to hear more details on ways IFF can manage the revolving loan fund, provide matching dollars, and maximize the effectiveness. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other reports? Commissioner Colvin.
Thank you, Chair. This might be a pre-report, but before we meet again, Commissioners Hennessy, McLeod, and myself will be doing the Senior Millage Review Committee. And this year, it's the first time, doing it in the spring, given the, new fiscal year impact. And this year, if I recall from the big stack of stuff we're reviewing, that there's more than $1 million of requests over the amount that the millage provides this year, which is an unusually large gap for us to sort through. So we've got our work cut out for us.
Good, thank you. I'm sure you're up to it. Commissioner Sparks.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to report from the Area Agency on Aging of West Michigan, our Committee Advisory Council. We are working on direct care workers, trying to get them to a better place, more livable wage. Right now, they're at $14. We're working on another $4 to get them to $18. Elder abuse and guardianship bills, we've been working with various legislators on making sure that we can support and take care of our senior citizens who are not able to take care of themselves, and also broadband. On May 17th, it is Older Michiganians Day, So we will be at the not the White House, sorry, Lansing. We're not going to the White House yet, but we will be in Lansing to support senior citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other reports? Commissioner Diaz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would just like to share that I'm currently having conversations with some of the commissioners or on the Grand Rapids City Commission, specifically around local grade separation. Yesterday, the Michigan State Senate unanimously created a local grade separation program so that communities around the state can work on creating underpasses or overpasses for the trains that run through their communities. And I believe that they added, I believe, $50 million to that program statewide. I'm currently having conversations around the tracks that run through Godfrey Avenue and Cesar Chavez Avenue, because it is unfortunately often the case that trains run through those streets often, and oftentimes they end up just stopping right in the middle of the road during busy times. Obviously, this is an issue for if there's an emergency, or especially if plans to build the amphitheater around that area end up moving forward. We're already currently seeing issues with traffic around those areas, especially during peak times. And so I believe it was advised to me by the administration that this is something that would have to move forward through the city. So I'm hopeful that we can have further conversations and further talks and see if that can become a reality. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other reports? All right, I see none. We'll move to the next item, which is miscellaneous. Any commissioner have a miscellaneous item? And Commissioner Hildebrand.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Two quick things. I did want to thank the zoo and the county staff for the opportunity last night to meet the new exhibit and the new, I guess, animal, hippo, to be at the zoo. We enjoyed it. My family enjoyed it, so it was a nice evening. Thank you for that. Second, I want to give a shout out to Commissioner Sparks, because I attended an event a couple weeks ago, which was a fundraiser for the Michigan Court-Appointed Special Advocates, and they're a nonprofit, and they do great work around our state. And her and her sister emceed the evening and did an awesome job. They were beautiful, and they helped the organization raise over $70,000 to continue their work. So I couldn't tell them apart exactly because they're twins. So, but they did an awesome job, and I just wanted to thank both of them and congratulate them on that great work. So thank you.
All right. Yes, thank you. Any other miscellaneous? Commissioner Pakla.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to make brief remarks noting that it is National Teacher Appreciation Week, so sending some appreciation out to all of our teachers. It is also National Public Service Recognition Week, so thank you to all those in this room and across the county that engage in public service.
Commissioner Sparks.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Hildenbrand. I want to thank Network 180 for all the work that they're doing in the space, as well as our LRE. This is National Mental Health Awareness Month. 25% of school-age children are on anti-anxiety medications. 1 in 4 individuals live with a mental health issue. There are over 200 mental health issues. So I just want to thank Celebration Cinema as well for doing a fun run downtown here this weekend. It was really fun to see all of the superheroes and their costumes running for Lights, Camera, Take Action on mental health. So just want to make sure that we're checking in with our neighbors and our friends and those that maybe we don't know, because mental health is the foundation of everything that we do. So thank you for celebrating mental health.
Thank you. Commissioner Green.
Thank you, Chair. If you'll allow it, we have our clerk obviously here today, and we had an election last week, and I was wondering if it might be appropriate for her to give a quick recap of how things went.
Okay, let's see if we have any other miscellaneous, then we'll come back to you. Okay.
Thanks.
Commissioner Wooden.
Thank you, Chair. Just very briefly, I just think what we experienced a few moments ago was evidence how best we draft our standing rules, they're still subject to our interpretation. I want to be very clear here. The reason I made the point of order in the original one was that after a length of period not seeing or hearing a referenced item that we're voting on, I felt it was necessary. After the second gentleman quickly citing the welcoming plan adoption and even if it certainly was in line with his previous comments about esports, the fact that it was tied to the importance of cultural competency with forming a welcoming plan and the importance of community engagement. I personally was not convinced that it had stepped that boundary, and that's why we rely upon the chair to be the main arbiter and interpreter of our rules. So I hope that my colleagues will not believe that I was being subjective in the rules themselves, but personally was unsure whether or not the second gentleman passed that boundary, and why, again, we rely upon the chair to be that ultimate, or that primary interpreter and arbiter of our rules. So, thank you.
Yep, very good, and thank you for calling attention to there was a change in the rules that we all approved that did shift a bit the public comment process, and so we're trying to follow that, and you're right, for better, for worse, that falls back on me to ultimately make that decision, so. Absolutely. All right, anyone else for miscellaneous? Commissioner Diaz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have said this in the past before, so I won't spend too much time on it, but I just would like to correct the record. It was stated earlier during a public comment period that it is under our jurisdiction to deal with certain reproductive health issues in the county, or that it was due to a change or a decision by our governor on certain reproductive health decisions that have been made. I would just like to correct the record to say that it was the people of Michigan themselves who acted using their sovereignty to make certain decisions last year during our elections. So we, as a Board of Commissioners, do not have the jurisdiction to override those decisions. Onto a more celebratory tone, I would like to give a shout out to the Godfrey Lee Middle School robotics team, who are the first team to make it to the VEX Robotics World Championship in Texas. So I want to give a shout out to Remy Holmes, Eric Garcia Heredia, and Juan Madrigal, who are doing good work there in Lee Middle School, and I look forward to seeing them have good results at that championship.
Thank you. Vice Chair Brevi.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to highlight some information that our county administrator sent out about a week or so ago. He invited us on some DPW tours and a tour of the Sustainable Business Park. I would strongly encourage all of you to attend, to go on this field trip. There's a couple dates. The first one is Friday, June 2, and then the next one would be Thursday, June 8. It will definitely give you a better understanding of the situation we're facing in the county with how we handle solid waste. And I think it's a very, humbling experience to go stand on top of the landfill and all the stuff that you've thrown away throughout your lifetime here in Kent County, or go to Waste to Energy if you live in the city and understand where all of your trash goes. So I strongly encourage you to do that, and we are facing some decisions in the next couple months on, how we continue to handle our solid waste here in the county, and those are decisions that impact you and all of your constituents, and actually our region too. So I would encourage you to attend and continue to be informed.
Thank you for that. Commissioner Baker.
Yeah, just on May 23rd, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is having its awards gala, and our administrator, Alan Vandenberg, is nominated and a finalist for the Building Bridges Award for his work with the Welcome Plan and just reaching out across the community. So just wanted to let people know that.
Very good. Thank you. Anyone else on a miscellaneous item? All right, if not, I have a couple of items. First of all, just to acknowledge the early childhood millage is coming back up for consideration, and so I've asked Vice Chair Brevi to chair the review committee of the board to recommend back with respect to that, and I've asked Commissioner Teal and Sparks to as well serve on that. So we look forward to that report. And then last, I have, just to follow up on comment by Commissioner Pakla, this is Public Service Recognition Week. This takes place every year during the first week of May to honor those who have devoted their careers to serving our communities as government employees, and to acknowledge their tireless work and commitment to serving our community. Here in Kent County alone, we have over 1,800 regular and part-time employees working across 25 different departments and offices, and many more working for our authorities. These individuals serve in a variety of roles, ranging from law enforcement to public health to veteran services and general government. Each of them plays an essential role in assuring that our county continues to operate effectively and that we, as a commission and as a county, can deliver on the vision that we have for Kent County. Without the efforts of these public servants, Kent County would not be the vibrant and thriving community that it is today. So, on behalf of the Kent County Board of Commissioners, we express our deepest gratitude to all of our employees, and we honor the work that you do alongside us, and thank you for your dedication, for your service, and your sacrifice. Thank you. All right, with that, I will call on Commissioner. Oh, I'm sorry. Clerk, will you please do a brief election update?
Certainly. So we had a May election on May 2nd. We had 13 different proposals in 14 jurisdictions. All but one of those proposals passed. I just want to really shout out to my team, our elections team. They did a great job without having that elections director spot filled, which we do expect to finalize this week. But really, hats off to the whole team. The canvass for that final check and balance of of the accuracy of the election took 1 day, although we had to wait for 6 days to pass based on Proposal 2 provisions from 2022. We had to wait and see if we had any military overseas absentee ballots come in, which we did not. Just a couple little tidbits. We had 145,152 voters eligible to cast a ballot in this election, with 26,882 of those voters casting a ballot. That was just over 18.5% turnout, which is on admittedly the higher end of the spectrum for a May election. We had 130,000, roughly 130,000 absentee ballots issued, and 94% of those ballots were turned in, which is a usual, we usually have high 90s turn those back in. That means we had a 60% of our voters came in and voted on Election Day in the precincts, and 40% of our voters cast their ballots via absentee. So really, we are gearing up for the 24 election, though we do have a smaller primary election in August, and we'll have a smaller general election in November of this year. But right now, we're just focusing on nailing down details and how we're going to implement things like early voting and such from some of these changes that the voters enacted.
Very good. Thank you for your report. Now I'll call on Commissioner Hildebrand.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move we adjourn.
Supported. All those in favor say yes. Yes. We are adjourned.